He'll bounce names off of me. I've helped with a couple, but most of it is all him. Like I said, back of house, he's the genius, the brains.
All right, welcome to another edition of Dream Achievers Podcast. I'm Andy Young, the Mountain Money Man, and I'm here today with some sweet guests. So I've got Kyle and Allison with Outside the Cone. We're excited today. Actually, they're opening back up. So as you guys are listening to this, they've been back open for a week. Hopefully you guys have come in and got a treat. But welcome to the show, guys.
Thank you. Appreciate it.
So you guys just went on a pretty awesome vacation, it looked like, for the last month as you've been closed with the shop. Tell me a little bit as far as what you guys have been up to, doing some research and reconnaissance out across the country.
Well, we both went to Cancun, and that was just our kind of getaway trip after we had just gotten off and been done with the season. But then after that, I actually just went myself. I went to San Diego, Phoenix, and just San Diego and Phoenix. And went to some ice cream shops there, some places I'd wanted to try, specialty ice cream shops, and I like to do that type of thing, see what flavors are doing, see what they're doing out there, and just kind of take what I can and maybe do something with it when I get back.
So it's interesting as far as I can remember years ago coming into this very building when it was an iced tea place, so very highly specialized, and now as an ice cream shop. What was it that led you guys to back in, it was 2019, correct, that you opened up that fall? What was it that led you that said, you know what, I'm opening an ice cream place?
It had actually been years in the making. I'd been making ice cream for about 4 or 5 years, and then about 2 years before we opened, so it was probably 2017, maybe early 2018, I wanted to open up an ice cream shop, but it was just trying to find the right location, and we had actually been looking in as far as Radford, different places, and we might have moved if we couldn't find a place here, but this one popped up. The smaller lease options here for businesses are really hard to come by unless you're like in the downtown area, so this one popped up. It was where we wanted to open, and so we just jumped on it right away and kind of went with it.
So are you guys originally from Lynchburg, or did you relocate here?
I'm from Lynchburg. I've lived here since I was 7. Went to school here, went to Liberty, graduated, and that's how we met.
Okay.
And I moved here when I was 17. I went to LCA for a year and then Liberty, got a bachelor's in exercise science with Liberty.
So exercise science makes total sense to have the reward of ice cream, right?
I was a history major.
Hey, it's all right. I always tell people I majored in hospitality tourism management. They're like, how are you managing money now? I said, because I learned how to deal with people. I learned the business side, but how to have conversations and deal with people. So it makes sense versus just being trapped behind a computer.
Yeah.
That you can't get out and deal with that. And you guys have an amazing business that's set up here. It's always busy. We lucked out. We're recording today before they grand open again for the year. So we don't have the normal hustle and bustle, but the line a lot of times is lined up out the back door.
Oh, yeah.
So when you guys first opened, you said, hey, we're doing this. What were some of those initial challenges as you were opening up the business that you had to try to navigate?
I think getting all the systems in place. I mean, it's a lot. You got to have distributors. I have multiple different, probably over 10 distributors that I order through because I get so many specialty products. So it's not just one and done like a lot of people do. So I'm getting stuff from other countries a lot of times. So just coordinating all that, making sure you're getting your inventory right. It's just everything's all at once when you're first trying to open. So the month before, and then the first month of the business, I think was the hardest to navigate to get all those systems somewhat down to where, you're not just struggling the whole time.
Employees. We kind of split it where I always make the joke that he's back of house, more so I'm front of house. So he kind of took over that, like he said, distributors. He does the ordering. I help with the inventory for what we need up front, and I'll tell him. But I basically take over the employees other than the hiring we do together. So something I struggled with is scheduling. I worked in a lot of restaurants, so I understood people's schedules and having to figure it out. But when people are asking off or they have classes this day, they can work this night, but they can't this time. That was something that I had to figure out my own system of doing that. So like he said, it took a couple months for me to figure that out and get into the hang of things.
Coming back, being the business owner, that if they don't show up or they can't come, it's on you.
Yep. many a times it's happened and someone has called out or can't come in. There was a day that no employees could work, so just the two of us were here, open to close on a Sunday.
Wow.
It was a long day and it was a busy day, but we were here and it worked, and we were kind of proud of ourselves after and rocking it.
You celebrated with a toast of ice cream afterwards, I'm sure.
Yes, how was the day?
So one of the things that I always find unique when I stop by to check in with you guys are some of the unique flavor creations that you come up. And I've seen some pretty unique ingredients, everything from squid ink to just the normal graham cracker thrown in there, or even using local treats from other businesses.
Yeah.
But what is it what creative process do you go through when you're trying to figure out, hey, these are flavors that we want to put out for people to enjoy?
That's pretty much all me. I do all the ice cream, make all the things that go into the ice cream, so I get it from all different places. I mean, sometimes it just pops in my head, I want to do this flavor. Sometimes I get really creative with it. Sometimes I just want to do a flavor that most people have had, but in a different way. But, I mean, I'm thinking of flavors all the time that I might want to do, and sometimes I think of a flavor like the night before, and then I make it that morning, so...
Yep.
I'm kind of all over the place. Sometimes I don't know what flavor I'm going to make until right before I make it, and then that's the new flavor lab. So
does he have the safe like Colonel Sanders, where it's just the notebook of all the ideas that's in the back? Yeah.
Kind of. He'll bounce ideas off of me. A lot of people will come in, and a lot of the time I do know what is coming next if it's already made. But a lot of people will be like, oh, what is he making? And I will tell them, to be quite honest, like you just said, sometimes I have no idea because he doesn't know. So sometimes I do know and I'm keeping the secret, but sometimes I'll look at him and say, honestly, no idea what he's making. So that's all him. He'll bounce ideas off of me, or he'll bounce names off of me. I've helped with a couple, but most of it is all him. Like I said, back of house, he's the genius, the brains.
So obviously in any business, there's certain relationships that really help you out with getting things up and going, or just keeping things with the momentum. What have been some of the most important relationships for you all as you've been in business now for over a year, now in your second year fully of business here in Lynchburg?
Well, our first relationships that started us off were probably our friends and our past coworkers. I used to work at a restaurant, and they actually just a couple years before opened. So I got a lot of tips from my past managers on how to open. So a lot of those past friends, coworkers would come in and spread the word about us. And then from there, the first couple weeks, we already got regulars. That's what I call them, and we are very blessed by them. We have people that come in every single week, and honestly, I think that's the best relationship that we have here, because without our regulars, we probably wouldn't have survived last spring and summer during COVID, when, the height of that, when we couldn't have any seating and a lot of places were closed. We could stay open because we were food, but it was limitations. We couldn't have any employees. So myself, Kyle, and his sister Kim, it was the three of us here. And we surprisingly stayed open and did fairly well because of those regulars, because they supported us and loved the product. They would constantly come in and get pints to take home and check in on us and wanted us to succeed and stay open because so many businesses were failing. So we're very grateful for them. Thank you, regulars.
Yeah. So for all of you guys that come in and stop by, it doesn't go unnoticed. I think you were at Iron and Ale beforehand.
I was, yes.
So with that when you've got that and you're in the restaurant mentality, you're used to the person coming and sitting down at the bar, and then you know what food they're going to order, you know their favorite drink. Yep. I imagine that you know that when people are coming in, you're like, hey, James, thanks so, hey, I forgot your scoop. You want the same thing.
Yes. Many a times people have come in. One of our regulars, Miss Albin, she always comes in and gets a cone, small scoop, half vanilla, half chocolate. Vanilla's always on top. So I just always look at her and I say, regular? And she says yes. And I'll go ahead and scoop it, have it ready. So like I said, those regulars are a blessing. And we are building other relationships, like he said, through distributors and stuff like that. But most of the time it's those relationships that have kept us going. So we're very, very
And I've seen where you guys have done unique things as far as partnering with other area business owners as well. Too. So you've had some partnerships, I know, with County Smoak, with Ken and Jess Hess, that you've done some different. I saw one day, I think it was 10 pounds of smoked bacon that he had thrown on and was bringing in, and some unique things with that. is that just something that you guys decided, hey, we want to feature other local businesses, or how did that come about?
Yeah, I'd seen a couple other places doing that in different cities that I visited, and I just thought that was a really cool idea, and really you kind of get business from both places. So not only does it help, let's say County Smoak, we've done 2 collaborations with them. So our customers, then you hear about them and say, hey, maybe I'll try some barbecue. Then, likewise we get business from their customers because they usually post about it or talk about it, and then it kind of just helps both businesses, and then it's kind of a win-win, and it's kind of cool to feature other businesses, and we've probably featured like 4 or 5 other businesses now, and it's just a really the customers love it too, because you're getting our ice cream and something else that's really good that somebody else is making locally. So
it's really unique. I've seen that work in multiple different cities, as you mentioned, with businesses coming together trying to grow that community initiative so that people know more about what's going on. You're all helping each other, so it's very much a tight-knit group when it comes to restaurants and business owners with that. So obviously, I know you guys for here in the community, but what do you want to be remembered for years from now, when here in Lynchburg or across the area, when it comes to Outside the Cone? What's the impact that you want to be known for?
Well, first and foremost, I want to make like the best ice cream in Virginia. That's my goal, is just to make better ice cream than anybody else makes, and that's where I wanted to go from the beginning, and just really, really good, unique ingredients. But then also we really strive for the customer satisfaction, and it really shows in reviews that we've had. What people talk about is really friendly service, and really it's just where the community wants to come and hang out and get a scoop of ice cream and also get treated really well. People really like that.
Yeah, we have a great staff. We put together a great team. I'm excited to get them back starting today. Missed them, but we have some great team members, and they all have their own different little personalities, all know certain regulars, so it's really fun seeing that interaction with them. Most of our regulars, or even just guests that come in fairly regularly, know them by name. So that's pretty awesome. Like he said, we want that atmosphere, that positive, friendly atmosphere, and it seems like we're achieving that.
So where can people keep up with more information about Outside the Cone? Facebook, Instagram, anything like that you guys have?
We have both of those. You can just search for Outside the Cone. We have pages on Facebook and Instagram, so you can follow us. Anytime we have any news or upcoming new flavors, we always post about it. So if there's a flavor that you see that we post and say, hey, that looks amazing, then you know to come out and get it as quickly as possible. Try to come quickly, because sometimes it's gone in a day. It can be crazy.
Well, thank you guys so much for joining us today. Until next time, this is Andy Young, the Mountain Money Man, signing off.